Hi, this is Hurling.
Hi, this is Judy. Welcome to Travel Trail Sail.
We're having so much fun sharing our Hawaiian adventure with you, and we wanted to wrap up our series by sharing 10 tips that we learned in planning and taking our Hawaiian adventure. So here we go with our top 10 tips for a Hawaiian Islands cruise. We're going to run our tips starting with number 10 all the way down to our number one favorite tip. So starting with number 10, luggage tag holders. And you're thinking, luggage tag holders? Well, actually, when you check in for your cruise before you get on your flight, you'll have the chance to print luggage tags. And they're paper tags that you print on your printer at home, and then you're supposed to attach them to your suitcase so you can drop off your bags when you're checking in for your cruise, and they'll magically make it to your room later in the day. But what happens if they get wet or torn or damaged in some way? So we heard about these luggage tag holders. They're plastic and they seal up really nicely. They're really thick. They have a metal ring. So you just slide your printed luggage tag into the holder, attach that to your suitcase, and it'll help protect the tag so that your luggage actually makes it where it's supposed to go. So these ones we got from Amazon. They came from a company called Cruise On, and they worked really well.
Yeah, they work great. And we sure wish that was the same system for luggage tags for disembarkation. So for disembarkation, you actually pick up your luggage tags from guest services the day before the cruise ends. And there are different colors of tags. So each color designates a certain time that you're supposed to disembark the ship. And there are only so many tags per time slot. So if you need a specific time to get off the ship, say you need to get off really early, be sure to get to guest services early because those tags go fast. Now with those tags, you do handwrite all of the information on those tags, and a complaint we've often heard is that no matter how hard you try, the ink will smear, and it sure did. It sure did smear for us. So something just to be aware of, but it sure would be great if we had that same luggage tag for disembarkation. All right, tip number 9, pack light and casual. So the Pride of America dress code is pretty casual, and the weather in Hawaii generally is warm and sunny. You may have some rainy time of the year, but generally it's great weather. On the ship, there are no formal nights, and when we were on the ship, there were very few people that actually dressed up for dinner. So it's a very casual cruise.
And so for men, you can actually pack pretty light. Some Hawaiian shirts or polo shirts are perfect for dinner, maybe with a pair of dress slacks. And then in the daytime, you could have a polo shirt, a t-shirt, or even a UV shirt with a pair of shorts. In terms of shoes, I brought along some hiking sandals from Keen, a pair of tennis shoes, and a pair of dress shoes for the evenings. But again, I didn't have to bring that much. Just look for some things that are, sun protection, UV, and wrinkle resistant.
And for me, I found dresses on LL Bean that work really well, that are casual, yet you can dress them up, dress them down. They travel great because they don't wrinkle, and they are very, very comfortable. So check out LL Bean. Those dresses are fabulous. So those worked really well. Other than that, pretty much like Erling, I was wearing shorts, sun shirts, hiking shoes, tennis shoes, and a pair of dressier shoes. And that was pretty much all we needed. So it's very casual, pack light, and you'll be good to go.
The only thing is, if you do go on a shore excursion, you might find yourself going up to the top of a mountain. Like we did the sunset at Haleakala, and at high altitude, it got a little chilly. So we actually packed puffy coats, really light packable ones, hoodies, hats, gloves, and gosh, I'm kind of glad we had them because it was a little chilly up there.
It was chilly, it was. But if you go on that excursion, you will definitely be happy to have those with you.
Continuing our countdown, we're moving on to tip number 8, bring laundry sheets. If you're packing light and you're not bringing a lot of clothes on board, you may want to do laundry. And laundry sheets, they come in a manila envelope like this. So it's really small, easy to pack. And believe it or not, this pack could do between 30 and 60 loads of laundry. Well, that's just amazing, right?
Yeah, it's awesome.
So if you're at your pre-cruise hotel or staying in a hotel after the cruise and you have a washing machine, you can actually just throw one sheet like this in a washing machine and it'll do a full-size load of laundry. But it's kind of cool because those sheets tear in half. So if you have a smaller load, you can put a little sheet in. Now when you're on the cruise, they don't have self-service laundromats. You won't be able to do your own wash there. You could fill a bag and send it to their laundromat, but that might get a little expensive. So in the small sink in your bathroom, if you need to wash out a swimsuit or a t-shirt, you can actually just tear off a piece of one of these laundry sheets, wash your clothes in the sink, and then hang them in the shower to dry.
All right, on to tip number 7, where to buy souvenirs. Now, you're in Hawaii, you're more than likely wanting to bring back some souvenirs. The Pride of America does have some shopping available, but you'll probably have better luck on shore finding souvenirs. And so we're going to share a few of the places we found during our cruise. Now, many of the ports are working ports. It's not like you can just step off the ship and there are tons of shopping options for you. However, at the port of Maui, if you are able to cross a somewhat busy street, there is a pharmacy and also a Whole Foods right across the port. And we checked out the Whole Foods and found several made in Hawaii products. Hawaiian coffee, chocolate, jelly candy, macadamia nuts, really a great variety of Hawaiian products.
One of the things I liked from there was Rusty's coffee. We found Rusty's and brought some of that home with us. That was one of the better coffees we had in Hawaii.
Oh yeah, it was really good. So check it out. If you can find Rusty's coffee, definitely get some. Another option for souvenirs is ABC stores, and those are all over Hawaii. And that is pretty much a one-stop shop. You can find just about anything you need there, whether you're looking for t-shirts, hats, magnets, if you need snacks, toiletries, things like that. It's pretty much everything you would need. And those are all throughout Hawaii, very popular for shopping for souvenirs.
Another thing we found was on several days, we actually ended up in national parks in Hawaii. And in the visitor center, there's usually a gift shop. We found a great selection of souvenirs there. We got some really neat t-shirts from a couple of the national parks. You can get magnets, playing cards, all kinds of small portable items that you could bring back as a nice souvenir.
Yeah, they were really nice t-shirts there. Very nice.
And one thing that was really surprising, we were at Volcanoes National Park, and I came across a Hawaiian shirt made in Hawaii. And it felt really high quality. It was made in Hawaii, and it was actually less expensive than the Hawaiian shirts we saw in other places we visited. So check out the national park gift shops when you're visiting those locations. When you're out exploring, you may come across other places where you can find a souvenir. For example, when we visited Kauai Coffee, we walked around, did a self-guided tour, got to try a little bit of coffee, and then we brought some home with us that was really good. And our last tip comes from Mike. We were talking about this trip before we took it, and he said, you know, there's a place that you might not expect to find the best souvenir shopping in Hawaii. And I'm like, well, what's that? He said, you have to go to Costco. Like, Costco in Hawaii for souvenirs? But believe it or not, we checked it out. They had a good range of Hawaiian-made goods, macadamia nuts and candies and different things, and better prices, larger packs that sometimes had smaller individual portions that you could share easily when you get home. So that was actually a great tip. The only other tip we can think about souvenirs is make sure you leave a little bit of room in your suitcase. There's so many fun things that you want to bring home, and you need just a little bit of room to bring those souvenirs home.
All right, tip number 6. What is the best side of the Pride of America?
Well, Any side, because you're in Hawaii.
That's right. I mean, any room you get, whether it's port or starboard, is going to be fabulous, right? You're in Hawaii. However, after looking at different options and as we were researching this trip, we decided to book our room on the port side of the ship, and it was fantastic. We had some great views as the ship was coming into the ports and leaving the ports. It was just beautiful. So for us, the port side of the ship worked really well. The view we had when we were in Kauai was amazing.
Absolutely.
Amazing. So either side, though, you're going to have a fabulous room because you're in Hawaii.
On to tip number 5. Plan to arrive 2 to 3 days before your cruise departs. Now, it's a pretty good recommendation to arrive the day before, just in case there's travel delays or any interruptions. You want to make sure you arrive on time. But for a Hawaiian cruise, we're actually going to suggest you get there a little bit before that. For many people, it's a very long journey to get to Hawaii. I know our flight was all day.
A long flight.
By the time we got there in the middle of the afternoon, we were pretty jet lagged. And by 8 o'clock that night, it was time for bed. But because we were there a couple days early, we had time to explore, time to get used to the time zone and get over our jet lag. So we really do recommend you come a couple of days early.
For our pre-cruise stay, we were at the Waikiki Beach Marriott, and that was really a great place. We could walk around Waikiki, we could go to the beach, we went swimming, we went to see Pearl Harbor. It was really a great start to our adventure in Hawaii. Now, the cruise is, a very heavy, port itinerary. It's, pretty active cruise. And as we were planning this, we thought, wouldn't it be great if we could stay a little bit longer after the cruise and just enjoy some time relaxing and just, get a little bit more of those good Hawaiian vibes before we went back home. So we decided to stay at Disney's Aulani Resort in Ko'olina, which is a quieter side of Oahu. And it was fabulous. It was so relaxing, and it was so nice just to stay an extra couple of days.
So if you're interested in checking out the places that we stayed, we've actually posted videos of the Waikiki Beach Marriott and Disney's Aulani Resort. So hopefully those are helpful, and we highly recommend you plan a little bit of extra time around your cruise. Tip number 4, create a daily plan. Now, I'm not talking about anything elaborate. You don't have to get out a spreadsheet, but you should have some idea day by day what you'd like to do. And you probably already know what kinds of activities you enjoy on a vacation. Do you like a day at the beach? Do you want to go for a hike? Or maybe check out a local restaurant. So think about each day, what's the one thing that you want to do that day? And then with that plan in place, you'll be all set. We did our trip and we had a shore excursion planned for every day, but that was just scratching the surface of the things that you can do. We got to do some of the must-do Hawaiian things like go to a luau. We went on some hikes, which we enjoy, and it really helped us relax into the trip by having an idea day by day what we were going to be doing.
Tip number 3, make your reservations. So once you have your plan in place, you can go ahead and start making reservations for, say, any excursions you want to take or specialty dining you want to do. When you have your plan, then, you can reserve those things well in advance of the cruise. We did our excursions monthly. We would book a couple a month until we got all our excursions done. And then once we knew our excursions and what day we were going to do those, then we could reserve for our specialty dining. With the Free at Sea package, you get a couple of specialty dining meals. Once you have your excursions booked, then you'll know which day would be best to reserve those, which again, you can do well in advance. So you wouldn't want to reserve specialty dining if your excursion's coming back late. So that's why it's so important to have a plan in place. And once we had that all set, we had our plan, we had our reservations, then we could, start our vacation and just relax right into it.
We're almost there. Tip number 2, pay for everything in advance. Now, we've talked about having a day-by-day plan, and Judy shared how you could reserve everything in advance, but our tip is pay for everything in advance too. I recently read a book called Happy Money. The authors had done a lot of research into how people spend money and ways that spending can make you a little bit happier than spending other ways. And one of their tips was, if you're planning a vacation, just go ahead and treat it like it's an all-inclusive, pay for everything in advance. We learned early on a cruise that those things add up. Shore excursions and dining and the photographs and all those things that you want to do. Then on the last day, you get that bill in your room and you're like, oh
my,
I didn't expect that. So if you've paid for everything in advance, and you can combine that with Free at Sea, where gratuities are included and the beverage package is included, but the things that you book beyond that, like excursions, just go ahead and pay in advance and you will have a much better experience, not worrying about all those things, whether you should do them or not.
All right, we are down to our number 1 tip, and that is just go and book that trip. Sometimes you never know what life will bring, what curveball will be thrown at you. So that's why it's so important to really do those things that have been on your bucket list for a long time. So if Hawaii has been on your bucket list, and if you can make it happen, do it and go and enjoy your trip to Hawaii. It will be fabulous.
Thanks for joining us on our journey. We love having you along as we've been sharing all these tips and tricks and things that we learned and saw on our trip to Hawaii. It's been so much fun sharing them with you. And we're working on some new videos, different travel to different places. We hope that you find them interesting and continue to stay with us on our journey. So we look forward to seeing you again real soon.